Back for another update. It's 8:35 on the 9th of November, and I had a closed basket. And just on the pound Canadian dollar. Now, I know I said in the last video just 2 days ago that I decided to remove this pair and replace it with the NZD CAD. But so my three pairs on the 7th were the Euro Pound, the NZD CAD, and the Australian CAD. And I decided to actually drop the Euro Pound as well. Now, the reason for this was because I did a few tests with that pair, considering the 6% cutoff as well for the strategy with the standard risk settings, and it just didn't really work well with the cutoff. Now, I know that this pair works well if it's more flexible stop loss, typically the 500 pip stop loss for each trade. But since I'm actually using this strategy with a percentage cutoff, I have to be really careful with what pairs I use, and the drawdown, the basket size number for each pair, and so on and so forth. So I ran a test with the Euro Pound, and it just didn't really shape up very well with that cutoff. So I went back to the pound Canadian dollar and did some tests on that with that percentage cutoff, and it did look quite a bit better, but it did have more trades for one, and it had more losses. So that 6% loss cutoff was hit a lot more times, and so I'm temporarily only using the pound Canadian dollar again, but I'm right now looking for a pair to replace that as well. And so I possibly may just end up using those two pairs, the NZD CAD and the Australian CAD, because they look really solid on using a 6% stop loss. So this is what it looks like, and it's still going. It still has a bit left from 2010 to 2017. This is how many losses that it was hit with: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 losses in 7 years just on this one pair. And I believe that the NZD CAD is even better, so even fewer losses over that span of time. So these pairs just don't trade a whole lot. So there could be weeks that I don't even get any trades, but my account is being traded in a safer way, fewer losses, less risk. So as I'm talking here, I'm actually going to now run the NZD CAD, if I can find it in the test here. So this is what it looked like. So 7 losses over 7 years. So now I'm going to run it on the NZD CAD, and then we'll see what the difference is. And so yeah, it looks like it's actually maybe a few more losses than I expected, and especially in the beginning. Looks like 3, 4 now. And so we'll see how this test shapes up. Maybe I don't have my settings right, but I'll see after the test is done. Okay, so the closed basket that I had was on the pound CAD, and it was on the 1 hour chart. So I did change a couple things. I saw that the 1 hour was a bit more accurate with the 6% cutoff. Fewer losses were taken than when I used to use with the M30 chart with the expert advisor. So on the 1 hour, the first trade was taken here after this inside candle. Now, excuse me, it wasn't the best setup though. It was near a round number, which is the 1.67, and it's the reason why I kept it in. But like I've told you guys before, I like when it makes a new low, or at least retests the same level. And you can see that this was a bit above the 1.665, which was the heavy support level. And so this one did not quite reach that level, but because it was at a whole number or round number, I decided to leave it in, and it worked out pretty well. There was a pretty big gap between the first and second trade, but this is standard because of the 1 hour, using this on the 1 hour chart. That means that the 20 pip grid that I have may be pushed. It's because it has to wait for the candle to close before entering another position, and you can see that that ended up being about 37 pips from entry 1 to entry 2, and entry 2 to 3 was actually just about 20 pips, so standard grid size, but it's because it has to do a lot with that candle length as well. It happened to be about 20 pips. You can see the recovery on the push back up, and that transferred out to be you can see the notch here. This is the one that was from today. Although it's saying no profit today, it was taken during the course of the night last night, so about 5 hours or so ago, and it did give me $200 profit. Now this is not just one trade. It was a total of $200 on last night's trade, and then $32 on a basket earlier this week. That also should have been about $200. Unfortunately, I closed that one out early because of a mishap on my expert advisor, on one of my expert advisors. So this week, looking at 1% on my personal account. It's not bad, but it's been a pretty slow week considering expert advisor issue that I had. Robert's account doing well. His account hasn't had any issues this week. It's been perfectly fine. He has 0.5% at $600 profit, and so the recovery, while slow, it is steady. So that's what I care about. You can see right here this push up, and I need to get to about here or so for to reach the high water mark from September. So looking good. Bit of a mess in this area, but that should be cleaned up as the expert advisor makes the losses back over time. Alright, this is my new account that I'm trading for a friend, and my buddy Joe, and this is $1,000, and so far he's trading the same as I am on my personal account, so using the same risk at 4 times the risk level, which is a cutoff of 24%. And a profit potential of 15 to 20, and he has gotten 2% this week with a 20% gain already. Sorry, a $20 gain already on $1,000, but just 2% profit. All right, the other buddy that I was helping trading for, Jared Liu, is still not quite using my expert advisor. I think he's a little bit more interested in doing some manual trading, and he's doing that on his own. So you can see that his account was being used by the expert advisor all the way up until this time about. And I think he started using it again a bit later after that, and then has since stopped. He likes my expert advisor, but I think he's more interested in manual trading, and so that's perfectly fine. But he didn't suffer any of the losses that, he didn't suffer the loss that Robert did actually. He shut off the expert advisor, or my expert advisor, before the heavy pound news came out that caused that loss to begin with. So he's doing very well, and with the help of my expert advisor and now his personal trading. So good on him. Alright, so nothing else to really report about today. I'm still considering looking for considering manual trading and looking for a scalping system. Still haven't had anything that works long term yet, so I'm still working on that. No trades currently. And this is, again, what the NZD CAD looks like. So a bit rough in the beginning with the losses back in 2010. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 losses in the first about year. So there was a bit of a loss in the beginning, and then a lot fewer later on. So then 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 4 losses from 2011 on is pretty dang good, and looks like the gains are about the same as the Australian CAD. So hopefully we don't have another section like this where I have lots of smaller losses, but so far it looks like the overall conditions in the past 6 years or so have been really good using a percentage cutoff like this. Okay, so I haven't found anything that's a good third pair to trade yet. The pound CAD, which I can actually show you here as well. So just so you have an idea of what I'm working with, and the reason, and I'll give you the reasons why I don't really want to use this pair that much, even though it does come out with overall profit. It just has a lot more losses, and I think that could overwhelm my account and really hurt things, the progress of my other 2 pairs. So I'm uneasy about using this in the long term, but until I find something to replace it or a better solution, then this is how I'm going to go. Alright, so no questions have been really asked since my last video. This is just a quick update on my trading this week. It's been a little slow on my personal account, but it's been very steady, which is how things should be with trading anyway. Alright, so this is what just a very quick showing of what the pound Canadian dollar does. So you see a lot more losses, a lot more streams of losses. So look at these, like basically 3 in a row, 3 in a row here, 2 in a row here. And even though it does creep up, it's not as clean. And so this is the kind of stuff that you guys as traders need to do to really calculate what is the best combination on your account. What kind of strategy are you using? Can you build an expert advisor to test the strategy to make sure that it works, that it's worked over a few years of time? Because you may be using something that's working now and in the current market condition, but as you know, the market conditions and how the market behaves and reacts is always changing. It may change back to how it was back in 2012. It may do something completely different. It may do something that it's never done in its previous history. But that's how we as traders, the tools that we have are finding out what has worked in the past, and with the potential that it may continue to work in the future. That's pretty much all we really have to go on by. And because it's really hard to figure out what kind of condition is the market in right now. You could say that it's in a ranging or a trending, but how long is that actually going to last for? So that's why we have these tools at our disposal to see what strategies work and when in previous history, so we can get a better idea of how to utilize the current market condition with the strategy that we're using. So I urge people to try to make an expert advisor of your strategy, whatever you're using, and if it's working, then don't be so naive to think that it will continue to work. You need to try to figure out how to adapt to every single market condition. So let's say that you have a trending type of system. You need to figure out how and when not to trade it during a non-trending times, because those are the times that you could potentially have losses. And how will your strategy adapt to that, or will it not? Will it not trade during that time? What can you find? What kind of tools can you find for it not to trade during a ranging market or a flat market? So this is the kind of stuff that you need to do in order to be a profitable trader. There are only a few traders that I know out there that have done this type of research on their strategies to make sure that they are well-rounded, that they can work through heavy news conditions during Brexit talks and in news, and potential huge disasters that happen that can cause currencies to really fluctuate. These things you need to do research on, and I urge you to do that so you can have more success, not just in the short term, but in the long term. Alright, I think that's it for my update today. If you guys have any questions, please post them on my YouTube page. If you like what I'm offering, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions on what you would want me to talk about when it comes to trading, like emotions, certain types of pairs, what kind of conditions am I looking for, what about news trading, all that kind of stuff. If you have any questions, either post on my YouTube page, or you can also post on my Forex Factory thread too, which is called The Real Trader's Video Journal, 3.5% per month as a US trader. You can track my performance there. I have what they call an Explorer as well, and you can see all the videos there as well. Alright, thanks so much guys for watching, guys and gals for watching, and I hope to see you maybe next week, or if I have extra trades today, maybe I'll be back tomorrow. But I wish you a good rest of the week. Have a good one. Bye.